Hey, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and huge story coming out of the streaming world over the past few weeks. It's kind of been slowly developing. I haven't been talking about it because so many headlines and so many extra news bits have been popping up about it, and who the hell else knows what's going to come up after I come out with this video, so please bear with me. But essentially, Tidal, Jay-Z's music streaming service, stands accused currently of inflating subscriber numbers and inflating streaming numbers, specifically records from Kanye and Beyonce, sort of faking streaming numbers in the millions for both of those records. Now, these allegations come by way of a Norwegian newspaper who got a hold of some inside information, which it may not have been entirely kosher as to how they got a hold of it. And because it's not a source that was obtained through, I guess, regular means, one could speculate, well, is the information really trustworthy? But clearly, there's some smoke here, and it's led to a lot of publications putting out articles about this because it sort of seems like these numbers could be legit. And Jay-Z, immediately after that allegation, and Tidal as well, just came right out and started to deny, just kind of completely write off and throw out the idea that this is even a possibility, saying that the publication is biased against Jay-Z, and that's why they're saying such things. And now, at one point where it was just like this straight up denial, it seems like there's more and more credibility kind of being lent to this story. And now there are more people kind of wanting to look into the legitimacy of this, because now this latest headline over here, which dropped last week at some point, Norwegian PRO files complaint against Tidal over fake streaming allegations. So we're talking about an institution within Norway which is going to be doing its own independent research and study into why exactly these streaming numbers have been faked. If in fact, again, that is the case, because these currently stand as allegations. If Jay-Z were to do something like this, not to say I think he's a bad guy or something like that, but I wouldn't necessarily be surprised, because Jay-Z is going to see the way that the game can kind of be played in the streaming realm and try to use that to his benefit, because Jay-Z, he's a businessman. I mean, look at the fact that his past couple of albums went platinum by selling 1 million copies before the album release even was a thing, through whatever company he sort of does like a brand deal with or something like that. You know what I mean? So right now, these streaming numbers, still the fake accusations are out there, and the denial is out there. But now, sort of with a recent development, Tidal is reportedly now investigating a data breach after these reports of the Beyonce and the Kanye streaming numbers, which, again, if we're talking about an outward denial here and there's no validity, there's no truth to what's being alleged, why are we having an investigation, an internal investigation of a data breach? Because then if the data is fake, then what data was breached? I mean, if you look at their statement down here, they simultaneously announce this data breach investigation, but then also reject and deny the claims at the same time. I mean, clearly they're aware that there's like a bit of an inconsistency here, or that it looks a little weird. It looks a little odd, but still, let's see the statement over here. We reject and deny the claims that have been made by Dagens. I'm not even going to try to say it because I don't speak Norwegian. Although we do not typically comment on stories we believe to be false, which, again, I mean, there have been other stories about Tidal, faking numbers and such in the past where it was mostly speculation. And to my knowledge, there wasn't a whole lot of reaction to those. So, why react to these? There have been other stories about Tidal and about Jay-Z and about the business model of the streaming service, where there wasn't really sort of like the outcry from Tidal that we're seeing here. I mean, maybe, again, it has something to do with the fact that so many publications have picked this story up, but let's read on. It's important to make sure that our artists, employees, and subscribers know that we are taking the security and integrity of our data, that we aren't taking that lightly, and we will not back down from our commitment to them. When we learned of a potential data breach, immediately and aggressively, we began pursuing multiple avenues available to uncover what occurred. This included reporting it to proper authorities, pursuing legal action, and proactively taking steps to further strengthen our stringent security measures that are already in place. Additionally, we have engaged an independent third-party cybersecurity firm to conduct a review of what happened and help us further protect the security and integrity of our data. We are proud of the hard work, devotion to our artist-driven mission, and tremendous accomplishments of our over 100 employees in Norway and 50 more in the United States. We look forward to sharing with them and all of our partners the results of the review once completed. I mean, it seems like the way that they're trying to paint it here is that this data breach, it's like, oh, you know, it's all about our subscribers, it's all about our customers, it's all about our artists, when really, I mean, the data that was breached, the data that was leaked, I mean, maybe whoever got a hold of it might have had access to other data that was also very sensitive and maybe personal, and maybe having something to do with people who use the website. That's entirely possible. Wherever this person found this data, allegedly off of this hard drive, which I've read, maybe they also had access to that information as well. But clearly, that's not the information they actually wanted to leak. You know, that's not the information that they wanted to get out there into the public. They wanted to get out their streaming numbers information. So it's, I don't know, it's, again, it seems a little fishy. It seems a little odd. It is kind of weird and questionable that they would kind of throw out this red herring of sorts. You know, it just sort of seems like a bit of a distraction or a non-response to the allegations that have been thrown at them. And it's sort of like, well, you know, it's not about the data that was leaked. It's about the fact that there was a data leak and that's illegal. Which is a little besides the point at this point. I mean, maybe whoever threw this information out there, maybe they will, as a result of this, see some kind of legal repercussions. But that doesn't mean that Tidal shouldn't also sort of get a slap on the wrist if, in fact, they are fudging the streaming numbers. Now, to go off of this into a deeper comment and opinion on this whole streaming thing, unfortunately, right now, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot in the streaming world to sort of prevent this kind of thing from happening. And once streaming services gain a chokehold on the music listening habits of all music fans, it could come to a point where streaming essentially becomes the new radio, the new gatekeeper, and it's payola all over again, whether it be by way of labels doing whatever they can to fight their way into relevant playlists or onto the front page of these streaming services, or you have people who run these streaming services essentially picking winners and losers and deciding what's relevant and what's not and sort of forcing things down people's throats. Because, I mean, a lot of the streams that people hear every day on these streaming platforms, they come by way of the playlists, they come by way of the front page, they come by way of, well, I mean, what people see as being hot as a result of streaming on the Billboard charts, which now with streaming directly connected to that, it's a little confusing and misleading if you're going to have companies fudging the numbers and just passing in like, yeah, you know, this artist who we have like a brand deal with or a deep connection with, yeah, they're our most #1 streamed artist right now. Yeah, definitely, for sure. These numbers aren't fake. So I kind of worry that the freedom and the wild west of the internet is going to be melting away, is going to be slipping away by way of streaming services and the people running them. There needs to be some kind of regulation or accountability here to make sure that these platforms, I mean, sure, they're allowed to put whatever they want on there. They're allowed to front page the things that they want. They're allowed to playlist the things that they want. That's on them. They're free to do that. That's totally within their control. But you cannot just lie and make up the numbers, because that leads to inaccurate reporting on places like Billboard. That leads to inaccurate royalties, whether it be overpaid or underpaid, because if you can inflate someone's numbers, why couldn't you deflate someone's numbers and get away with it? You know what I mean? So there's also inaccurate reporting. You're talking about people getting paid royalties here as well. So you're messing with potentially a lot of people's money. Which it could lead to a lot of lawsuits. And if we get to a point where this does lead to some lawsuits and it does kind of clog up the court system, then you're going to potentially see lawmakers interested in trying to write some legislation maybe about it. Because, we can't just have lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, because streaming platform A, B, C, X, Y, or Z can't fucking get the numbers straight when they're reporting to a record label or wherever. Not only that, but there are stories. I caught one in Digital Music News about Tidal saying that, oh, they're actually behind on some payments, some royalty payments for some streams on some records, which is pretty unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, things are not looking too good for Tidal right now. I don't know, and I don't assume that the service is going to be disappearing anytime soon, but seriously, like places like Tidal, places like Spotify, they can't continue to sort of function within the legal gray area if they want people to take them seriously as a company. It just looks bad at the end of the day. Especially for a brand like Tidal, who have built their entire image on, oh, we're for the artists, we care about the artists, we care about the song quality, we care about getting people paid, so on and so forth. Does not look good when stuff like this is coming up. Sure, I mean, you're denying that these numbers are fake, but if these numbers were so fake, I don't see how it would result in a data breach investigation. Maybe again that sort of puts a bit of a moral responsibility and onus on the person who leaked that data because you're so naughty. But I think the focus and the discussion really at the end of the day should be the data that was leaked, because whether or not somebody shared information about the internal streaming numbers of a streaming service, to me as an industry reporter, as somebody who follows the industry very closely, that seems like small fish in comparison to the potential for these music streaming services to be faking the numbers. To me, that seems like a bigger deal. To me, that affects more lives. It affects more pocketbooks. It probably dictates more the music streaming habits and listening habits of people who are using these services. Again, I would just hate to sort of see streaming turn into the new radio, literally, in the sense that it's kind of homogenizing people's tastes and destroying variety by forcing trends and shoving things down people's throats that they really have no interest in consuming. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. The relevant... having a brain fart here. The relevant articles are down there in the description. And I'll try to be less stuffy in the next video, guys. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that upworthy link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, forever.